You are not going to want to miss our next speaker. I know we've got a lot of entrepreneurs in the room. I want you to know that our next speaker started his first business at the age of 14. He is the youngest ever recipient of the British Excellence in Sales and Marketing Award. So it seems fitting that he would be here at Curaytor Excellence because he's been embodying it for a very long time. But he's still a very young man, I should say. He's the author of Exactly What to Say. He is a best-selling author. He is a sought-after speaker. Please put your hands together for Phil M. Jones.
Thanks, man.
Thank you. Break a leg.
So why don't we get right into it and say, hey, how do we use a set of words? You said you're fearful of rejection. What would happen if I could provide you with a set of words that you could use to introduce just about anybody into just about anything, and it'd be completely rejection-free? Would that be cool? Set of words you can use to introduce just about anything to just about anybody that is completely rejection-free. A rejection-free inviting formula. Let's talk about the words. See, if I want somebody to consider something, then what I'm going to do is I'm going to present it to the left or to the right of them. I'm not going to present it straight at them. What do I mean by that? I'm going to say the words, I'm not sure if it's for you. See, if I say the words, I'm not sure if it's for you, what does subconscious brain do? It does two things. First thing it does is it says, I'll be the judge of that. Right? You say, I'm not sure if it's for you. It says, well, I'll be the judge of that. Second thing that happens with that set of word choices is we've piqued curiosity. Their little voice says, what is it? I can't make my mind up. I'll be the judge, but I can't make my mind up till I know what it is. It means they lean in and they want to know more. I wonder how many times we could use that. Hey, I'm not sure if it's for you, but we've just had a great property come on in blank location. It's running around 50,000 below market value. I thought you might want to take a look. Rejection free? Let's understand where the power comes in this sequence of words. It's the three-letter word on the end. Who's been in an experience in an employed position, or maybe in a team environment, where somebody says, I know you're trying your best, I know you really care, and I know you want to make this work, but what do you remember? And then everything that follows the but. See, what but does is it negates everything that came prior to it in a conversational sense. So if I said the words, I'm not sure if it's for you, but little voice hears, you probably want to look at this. Imagine the sets of circumstances that you can use that to be able to invite people to look at the things that you have available right now. You could use it with a new property. You could use it with a for sale by owner. You could use it with an existing client when you want them to be able to look at growing their portfolio. You could use it to introduce referral partners that might sit in the mortgage market, might sit in other investment markets. You can use it to plant ideas in. And what's the worst that somebody says? No, it's not even that bad. What's the worst that somebody says? I'll have a think. That's as bad as it gets. I'll have a think. Now, if you just raise that question to dozens of people on a daily basis, and the worst that somebody said is, I'll have a think, would you have more confidence in that conversation rather than hitting brick wall, brick wall, brick wall, brick wall, brick wall? Has anybody heard the old saying, is every no one step closer to a yes? Is that one true, yes or no? No, nonsense again. Having sold my entire life, I have never, ever, 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 ever had somebody say the words no to me and me think, yes, I'm closer. This never happened. Anytime somebody's said no to me, because I care about what I do and I care about my customers and I care about the products, what happens is I go, what did I do wrong? Where did I make a mistake? What can I learn from that? And I beat myself up. And then when I beat myself up, I carry that baggage into the next opportunity. I carry it into the next opportunity. I carry it into the next opportunity. My experience isn't that every no is one step closer to a yes, unless what you are is the organization on top of the salespeople. When you're in the moment, every no hurts, every no sucks. What we're really talking about, though, is the power of questions. Questions are the key to all of this. Yet quite often we find ourselves in a situation where we're like, yeah, I know it's all about questions. I'm great at questions. I'm going to prove to you for a second just how great at questions you really are. And we're going to have some fun. I'm going to ask you some questions. Because you know the worst time to think about the thing you're going to say is is in the moment when you're saying it. So I'm going to ask you guys some questions that I know that you've been asked before, and I'm going to see how you get on. Because you're going to be ready, right, to answer a question that you knew you were going to be asked. Yes? Okay, let's do this. Let's see where we're going to go first. First question I'm going to ask, question that's asked in like dozens of sets of circumstances is, hey sir, hey, how are you?
Excellent.
Excellent. Where's the conversation gone from here? Boom, game over, right? Period on the end of that. He's like, I know this one. I say, how are you? He's like, I know, excellent. Done. Let's understand another key principle. This is a principle where, regardless of technology, this principle will never, ever, ever go out of fashion. And the principle is thus. Questions create conversations. Conversations lead to relationships. Those relationships become opportunities, and only those opportunities lead to sales. Let me repeat in case you didn't catch it. Where did it start? It started with questions, right? Questions create conversations. Conversations lead to relationships. Relationships create opportunities, and only opportunities become more sales. See, what we have is rooms full of people saying, I want more sales, and I'm trying to say to you what you need to do is to start by asking more questions. Can't jump from questions to sales, though, can we? That's like asking for sex on the first date. We want to hope it doesn't work out. So why don't we have another go? Your name, sir, was? John. So John tried. John got a C-, but thank you for playing. Let's try again. Try again. Same question. You've got more time for this one. Who wants to play? Who wants to play? This is what happens when you look away and avoid eye contact. It means it's all you did. Your name is? Anne. Anne, hey, how are you? I'm just fine, thanks. Has anybody ever seen a game of tennis? And a good one? One you enjoyed watching? See, in a game of tennis that you enjoyed watching, what happened is it went... Hey! Right? That's what happens in a good game of tennis. If it was ace, 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 you're like, this sucks. It's like watching basketball. Sorry, little British joke. Can we try again? How are you?
I'm wonderful. How are you?
Ah, expert, right? I'm wonderful. How are you? I'm wonderful too. Now what happens? Still game over, isn't it? See, how often does that happen? Somewhere like every single time, right? We've trained society as a whole to believe that nobody gives a damn. We're just going to be polite in passing. I bet you do it with co-workers, colleagues, friends. Hey, how are you? I'm good, thanks. How are you? I'm good. Whew, we survived. True? When is the worst time to think about the thing you're going to say? When you're about to say it. Anybody seen the movie Shrek? In the movie Shrek, Shrek says, ogres are like onions. They have layers. People are a little bit the same. We have layers. We like to see them peeled back, but in today's society, we believe we're transactional. We're not. We're still human. We just behave transactionally because everybody else behaves transactionally. So you, sir, your name is? Michael. Michael, tell me about the last place you went on your vacations.
It's been way too long.
It's been way too long. I get to travel way often, though, you see, because in my world, I'm a professional speaker. I've been to some of the best places. I don't get to vacation so often, but I do get to tag little trips on to the end of the things that I do. And recently, I've been to some really cool spots. I was in Sydney. Have you ever been to Sydney? Because Sydney rocks. It's not probably the best place that I've been to, but I have been to like 56 different countries from a working point of view. Did you know I've trained over 2 million people, written 5 best-selling books, and guess what? I'm freaking awesome.
I'm so happy for you.
How often does that happen in conversation? Right? We ask a question of somebody, they give us an answer, we proceed to tell them our version of their answer, thinking that we're showing interest in them. We're not though, are we? I mean, you were getting to a point where you either wanted to leave or punch me. Right? One or the other. Can we try again, Michael?
Yeah.
Michael, tell me about the last place you went on your vacation.
Boston.
Boston. Cool. When was that?
Yesterday.
Yesterday. So you're on it right now?
I'm having a great time.
Having a great time. How long are you in town for?
3 days.
Awesome. Awesome. I don't know the city too well. What are some of the things that you might want to get up to while you're here?
Salem.
Yeah? Why that?
Halloween.
Oh, okay.
There was the Union Oyster House last night.
Oh, really? And that was good?
Yeah, don't take these guys though.
No? What did you have at the Oyster House that was so awesome? Oh, funny, right? Good choice. That's a smart move. Yeah? Where you got going tonight? What do you got planned for dinner tonight?
Don't know yet. Any suggestions?
Not really. Like I say, I don't know the area too well. And you said don't go with these guys. Who'd you travel to Boston with? Right, this is Michael and I in a room full of 750 people. Is it weird? Yeah. Did we have more of a conversation than you have with most one-to-one interactions that you have when you meet somebody? Right? Now, here we're in a situation that if this was Michael and I at the bar while we were waiting for these guys to show up for dinner tonight, I'm guessing we'll have had a hell of a time. Might have taken 7 minutes. We'll have learned a great deal about each other. Nothing would have got too serious, but we'd know stuff that wasn't even asked. See, I didn't ask him about the oyster house, but he told me, correct? How many questions did I prepare? Only one. Where did the rest of my questions come from? Michael's answers, right? That's where those questions came from. They came from Michael's answers. Some of you might like some more specific words. Why don't I give you some specific words that can help encourage other people to talk about themselves? Would that be useful? Some of these words are difficult to spell. I still encourage you to write them down. They're words like, uh-huh. Yeah? Really? Wow. Nice. See, what do those words say? I'm interested. What else do they say? Tell me more. Tell me more. Keep going. Go on. Go on. Go on, please, more. How do you feel when somebody shows that interest in you that says, go on, go on, go on, go on, go on? I'm like, I love you. See, I do this with people all the time, right? I'll go to an event and I'll get them to tell me nothing other than amazing stuff about themselves. And I'll say, go on, go on, go on, go on. And then I find out through a third party that somebody says, that Phil, he's such a nice guy. You know, he's a stunning conversationalist. I didn't say anything. Nothing. Just ask them to talk about their favorite subject. If you're in any doubt who your favorite subject is, remember the high school photo. What was the first face you looked for? So if you are the most important person in your life, who's the most important person in your prospect's life? Well, make them the center of your attention if you want them to feel like they're the center of your attention. One of the things that I was invited to do earlier on in my career was with a furniture retailer to help turn around broken retail stores. Stores that used to turn over like 12, 13 million pounds had dropped back to 7 or 8, and bosses would say to me, Phil, can you help turn these places around? I said, how do you perceive we do it? They said, I want you to get better at overcoming the objections that are faced when we introduce our key profit drivers to our business. So that sounds fair, I can help with that. I said, but boss, wouldn't it make sense that instead of us learning to overcome the objections, we could just prevent the objections occurring in the first place? They said, I've got no idea what you mean. I said, well, instead of trying to find the fire and put it out, why don't we find the guy with the matchbox that was going to light the fire and steal the matchbox from his pocket before he leaves the house? He said, I've still got no idea what you mean. So I said to him, well, let's look at the objections that we're facing with. What are the most common objections that you face when introducing your key profit drivers? Now, this was the furniture industry, talking about couches, upholstered sofas. And the two most common objectives towards the two most common profit drivers were this. Profit driver number one was fabric protection, deciding to professionally seal the fabric so when you spill something on it, it doesn't stain. The second biggest profit driver was footstools, you know, an ottoman, an upholstered box you can use to put your feet on. Often more profit in that product than there was in the rest of the order as a whole. Let's have a think about what the most common objections were. Biggest reason why people would say they didn't want their fabric professionally sealed in the factory was customers would say a version of, we do not eat and drink on our furniture. 700 people in this room, show of hands, who's never taken a bite of food or a drink of anything while sat on the couch, who's never done that. And people say that salespeople are liars. Experience tells me customers aren't so good at telling the truth either, though, are they? Here's the trouble, though, is I can't say, of course you do, everybody does, because that would make me rude, pushy, and obnoxious. I have to take what they say to be true. What do you think the biggest reason was as to why people didn't want a footstool? Space-related, not got the room. So I thought, well, what if I could just destroy those options? I could stop people giving those excuses. I could make it impossible for people to say, we don't eat and drink on our furniture, and impossible for people to say we didn't have the room. I'm going to share with you the result before I explain how we got there, and the result was this. We moved average transaction value in stores from around £800 per customer to over £1,500 per customer. Almost double. And we got there with questions. I wrote what I call a question tree. First question was this. Apart from yourself, who will be using the furniture? Me, the wife, the kids, the dog? I'd follow it with another leading question. What, and a spot of entertaining? What do you think everybody said to the and a spot of entertaining question? Sure, of course. Nobody admits to having no friends. I'd say, is it going in the best room or the everyday room? Does it matter to me which one they pick? Best room or everyday room? Does it matter? Doesn't matter, right? Best room needs to continue to look its best. Everyday room's going to take a hammering. I win both ways round. I say, your last piece of furniture, how long did you keep that one for? Doesn't matter whether they tell me 2 years, 5 years, 9 years, 17 years, whatever they say, I guess you're looking for this to last the same time or longer. What did everybody say? Sure. So I got a piece of furniture that's going in the best room that they use for entertaining, plus multiple other people that they want to last a long time. Am I in good shape to recommend fabric protection? I'm in good shape. You're going to learn a little bit more about me that I'm not a fan of good shape. What I prefer outside of good shape is certainty. Certainty is my favorite thing to have when making recommendations to customers. So I learned one more question. I learned a set of magic words that you can use to preface something. You say preface, still preface, it's English we speak. Preface something with a set of words and get just about anybody to agree to just about anything, providing you're reasonable. See, I learned that if I preface a direct statement with the words, I bet you're a bit like me, just about anybody agrees to just about anything, particularly if they don't know you that well. See, I bet you're a bit like me, get home from work, enjoy nothing more than a glass of wine while sat on the couch. Yeah, that's me. I bet your household's just like mine, never finds time for a proper dinner around the dining room table. More often than not, it's a tray on your lap in front of the television. Yeah, that's us. Can they now tell me they do not eat and drink on their furniture? Success in selling is nothing to do with embellishing the option of yes. It has everything to do with destroying the option of no. That's where we should put more of our energy. How do we make no the only thing that an idiot would pick? And yes, the only option that's left remaining. Still got this footstool though, haven't we? What am I going to do with a footstool? What am I scared they might say? Not got the room. So I'm going to come straight at it. This best room of yours, how big's the room? Doesn't matter what they tell me. 3 by 7, 17 by 9, 42 by 11, they get the same answer. Same answer is this. Wow, that's a fair size room. How big is a fair size room? It's a fair size, right? I got more chance with that label attached to the room than I have anything else. So I say, you're buying a 3-seater and a 2-seater, how are you going to lay it out in the space? They try and explain it to me, I play dumb, I say, can you draw it? Piece of paper comes out and they start drawing it, they're having fun. It's like Etch-a-Sketch or crayon time, it's the time of their life. They're drawing this whole thing out. Do you know what every human being does that isn't an architect? They create me space in their diagram, loads of it. The room is like a cavern, and the furniture is midget. I didn't tell them to do it to scale, but they're building this. I'm like, stacks of room. As they're drawing, I ask further questions. I say, what do you do for storage? They say, I've never got enough room for storage. I say, when you're entertaining, what do you do for extra chairs? They say, we're often dragging chairs through from other rooms, or we have some people sat on the floor. I say, okay, great. Am I in good shape to recommend a footstool? Don't like good shape though, do we? What do we prefer? Certainty is what we prefer. So I wrote one more question. Bear in mind this was a question I wrote in the UK, and I think that this is the best question I've ever wrote in my whole career. You see me like smirking at it on purpose. Because for me this is brilliant, and I think it's only me that ever gets it. But I'm going to share it anyway. The question I wrote was this. Christmas time, where does the tree go? Why did I ask that question? Just found the home for the footstool for 11 months of the year, didn't I? What selling really is earning the right to make a recommendation. That's what it is, earning the right to make a recommendation. It's not embellishing a product or service with features and benefits, hoping that they might stick. It's earning the right to make a recommendation. What that means is you should never, ever, 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 ever invite somebody to do something unless you can say these words first. And the words I'd love you to be able to say first are the words, because of the fact that you said. Because of the fact that you said, blank, blank, and blank, it's for those reasons we'd recommend you do blank, blank, and blank. Because of the fact that you said. Try and argue with yourself. Here's what happened. I could say, because of the fact that you said that this is your going in your best room and you want it to last a long time, it's for those reasons you recommend that you have your fabric professionally sealed at the factory. Fair, isn't it? Hey, remember the fact that you said you're often entertaining, struggle for extra chairs? What most people do is they go for a footstool alongside the suite. It can serve as an extra chair, you can use it for storage, and if you're ever wondering where it sits, it goes under your feet. Try and tell me you've not got the room. Almost impossible. Now, I gave you the change in average selling price from a transaction point of view. I didn't tell you the change in conversion rate, though. Fabric protection, at the time, we were running around 60% before my work started. 60% conversion rate, already pretty good. Where did it rise to? Only 95. Only 95% conversion. Footstalls were running at 25% at the time. Where did that rise to? Only 40. Only 40% of the time. And I share those stats with you importantly because there's nothing I share that works with all of the people all of the time. Nothing. There are just some things that work with more of the people more of the time, that the compound effect of that more upon more means that you move from having a good year to a great year, that you create marginal incremental differences that compound up to make huge differences in success. What it also meant, though, is that we could win trust of consumers. We could say things like, because of the fact that you're using this in a shop window for a promotion over the weekend, my guess is you don't want this professionally sealed at the factory with a 5-year warranty. No, we don't. You're right. We'd win trust that way around. Hey, because of the fact that this is going as a sofa bed in your daughter's room, my guess is that you don't want a footstool or any other pieces. No, you're right, we don't. See, we could actually make the recommendations towards you don't want this too, and it would win more trust because it was honest. But instead of saying you should have a footstool, it's brilliant, let me tell you the 1,000 things it could do. How many reasons do people need to choose something? Here's a clue. As long as it's the right one, right? That's all it needs to be. If you do not believe with absolute certainty the sum of money you're asking somebody to pay for the service that you provide is worth it, and some, please don't ever expect somebody else to believe it. You've got to get this right on you first of all. But you do get sometimes customers, don't you? Prospects, people challenge your value. Is this true? They start to tell you about the competition who do the same as you for significantly less. And you love it, don't you? You think this is fun. Thanks. Yay. What if I give you a way of just crushing them? Would that be okay? Like just take that set of scenario and you think, been waiting for this. Here we go. As opposed to, oh, here we go again. Who's in control of every conversation? Person that's asking the questions. They say, I've seen a guy down the street doing the same as you for significantly less. They say, these have offered this percentage, you're saying more. And what you do quite often right now is you find yourself on the back foot being desperate. And what you're doing is you're gargling to them about all the reasons that make you better. What we fail to do first, though, is we fail to gain control of the conversation, fail to gain permission to be able to demonstrate our value. So what we need is a gateway question that puts you back into the seat of expert. Because when somebody is challenging you over price, they feel like they know more than you in that moment, yes? And quite often you behave defensively like you know that they're on the front foot. We need to move that around, change the conversation to give you posture. And all we need is a question. Question is going to start with these words. So we're going to say either what do you know about or what do you understand about? What do you understand about the differences between working with a professional realtor who's been in this industry for 25 years and working with an online agent? What do you understand about the differences? What do you understand about the differences of working with an experienced realtor and somebody who's just got their license? What do you understand about working with a team of realtors under the same umbrella as opposed to just some guy you knew from high school? What do you understand about the differences? Now, when I say what do you understand about the differences, what does the other person typically say? I don't know. That's the goal you are looking for, because when they say, I don't know, who's now expert? You are, which allows you to be able to unpack the differences. We operate in the world of real estate. We operate in the world of automotive. We operate in the world of finance, wherever it might be. And in that world, there are lots of people providing lots of different levels of service, correct? Let's let that fact come out. There are some people who operate like this, and these are helpful for people who are like this, this, and this. There are some people that operate like this, and they do this, this, and this. And what we do here is we do this, 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 and this. And we found out through the 23 years that we've been helping local people find the home of their dreams that that process works better for most. So I don't mind who you choose. See the difference? But the gateway question, which was what do you know about, was the thing that gave you the power, thing that put you in control. So ladies and gents, I've been Phil Jones. I wish you all the success in the world that you're prepared to work for. Thank you very much.
Wow.
Thanks, buddy.
Wow. Oh, man. Enjoy this. Ladies and gentlemen, Phil Jones.